What is going on, my Cardano friends? It is your friend Jack, and in today's video, we're talking about Cardano risks and also innovation that goes along with those risks, especially so for users. And I know most people, they don't really want to hear about risk, they just want to make a bunch of money. But the truth is, Cardano right now is in its infancy, and a lot of things are still growing, developing, and being implemented and tested. So there's a lot of risk in the ecosystem, which I kind of want to highlight today. Just go over some things that aren't so all great and some things that you should probably pay attention to when you're traversing Cardano and you want to minimize your risk. Speaking of risk, if you want to do some risk-free staking, aka you never lose your custody, you can stake with the Jack stake pool to earn passive ADA on your ADA. Now, what I'm more or less talking about today is new protocols that have came out in the past year and some new things that are coming that haven't really been tested before in Cardano or in many cases anywhere else. And if they were tested in other places, they crashed and burned sometimes. So things that are risky. And inherently, a lot of this risk and innovation that is going on in Cardano is backlash towards the people. So the people who get to experience the innovation also have to endure the risks that go with it. Let's take our first example. We're not even going to look at Indigo. Indigo just launched recently. I'm making some videos on them. That's why this kind of came to mind, and I'm making some tutorial videos, and I'm seeing that there's a lot of risk here when you're dealing with things. Now, MinSwap and SundaySwap, these are two DEXs that go off an AMM style. You have to provide liquidity. People have to provide liquidity so the pair can be traded, okay? This is the basis of risk. Me, myself, when SundaySwap launched, I bought some Sunday tokens. I provided liquidity to get the Sunday rewards, and at first, it went okay, but then when you take out your liquidity, you realize your impermanent loss was not worth the yield farm, and things went downhill. Now, this isn't always the case for every pair. Sometimes, the price goes up or the price stays the same. You don't lose money from your liquidity pool, and you make money on the farm. Now, that is pretty rare. That doesn't happen very often, and you have to be very careful. The thing is, you're inherently putting yourself at risk to be a part of these systems when you participate in providing liquidity and doing all these sorts of things that are new to Cardano and just new in general to probably you. This happens on MinSwap as well. There are some better systems like zapping in and other methods for providing liquidity, but in general, it's the same style. It's an AMM DEX, and there is risk, a lot of which was put onto the users, pretty much all of which is put onto the users when they're providing liquidity and not so much the protocol. Now, I'm not saying that this is terrible, this is so bad. I'm just saying that there's risks here, and new things come, new risks come. Something to keep in mind, now we're dealing with things like synthetics, things that don't really have any track record in much places at all, never mind just on Cardano. And there is ways to farm and earn yield on things like this in decentralized finance, but there's also risks. If you want to take part in this, you're going to have to pretty much risk getting liquidated and put up your money or your ADA to mint this asset, and you could get liquidated, aka you could lose all your collateral. So things are risky. Once again, this risk is put on the users. So I'm just trying to highlight that with all this innovation, we have synthetics, awesome stable coin, so we have two awesome DEXs and a lot more to come, and other things like not synthetic stablecoins, but algorithmic stablecoins. All of these things are risk for the user. Now, that doesn't really welcome in normal everyday Joes to the Cardano ecosystem. I know there are projects building like Axo and Liquid that offer tools that lower risk and heighten reward. However, in general, these things are scary, okay? I just want to throw it out there. These things are not easy to navigate, and there's usually more or less people losing than winning. The people who know how to win in this game are taking those rewards, and it is still, at the end of the day, a zero-sum system. Another example I can think of myself that I didn't do so well on was Milkomeda. It's a sidechain, great sidechain, but they had initially some DEXs on the sidechain, like Milky Swap and some others now that are on there, that I went ahead and got some yield farms going within the first days to try it, deposited a couple hundred ADA. It's like 50% APR, which obviously is too good to be true. And overnight I made like a few bucks. But then a couple of days later, if you provide liquidity and continue doing it, and you don't watch your positions meticulously, you end up down 90% in your liquidity pool because the pair went down, and it's just not that great. There's a lot of risk in these new systems, and people need to be aware that they can get liquidated. They can get withdrawn from their funds, or see massive permanent losses. And you need to learn, in my mind, with small amounts when you're using these things. But also keep in mind that things like stablecoins, synthetics, and algorithmic backed, you need to make sure that you're comfortable with what's going on behind the scenes, because if you don't know what's going on behind the scenes and it crashes, you just pretty much just threw your trust away and hope that it would be okay. And I'll be honest, I don't know the entire point of this video. I just kind of want to talk about this dilemma of risk involving new innovations on Cardano, because a lot of these things that are coming to Cardano and are going to be coming to Cardano soon have risk associated with them that people don't even seem to think about. They just rush in something new and they lose money. I've seen it happen a bunch of times. So I'm some reason applying or telling people to take more caution here and just look out for risks in each of these new innovations that come, because there are always going to be risks, okay? That's it for today's video. I'm not a financial advisor by any means. There will be tutorial videos for a lot of these risky dApps coming up in the next week, and as more dApps, even more tutorials. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to stay ahead. But not a financial advisor. Live in my mom's basement. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. It's been your friend Jack. Peace out.